Hello and welcome. How are you today? It's a pleasure to have you. Good morning. Gain fluency. I'm looking at these paragraphs. Some of them I remember. Some of them are connected to my life. Others are not. By the way, the books. Don't forget the books. And don't forget, you go to the internet. Tienes la pantalla. You have the screen. Y el teclado, no? The keyboard. The keyboard and the string and fingers. You can do incredible things with a screen, a keyboard, and fingers. And you put Vaughan. Put primero Vaughan. RTVE a la carta. Boom. 1,000, ¿cuántos? 1,066 programs. Wow. Bueno, no, 1,066, no, 1,035 quizás. Porque vamos, Marta and I are ahead of Televisión Española. We're ahead, estamos por delante, vamos por delante. But you have more than 1,000 classes, come on. So you go in on the internet, for you or for your teenage son or daughter, and you say, Jaime, Jorge, Inés, Paula, a estudiar inglés con ese, el Vaughan ese. Said, no, papá, que no. Okay. Con el inglés hay que hasta obligar. It's important to learn English. I guess sí. Víctor va a tener que aprender inglés, pero bien. Victor is 7 years old, 7 or 6? 6. He's 6 years old. Victor needs to speak English well, but well, requete bien, requete well, okay? He needs to speak it really well when he's 22. Cuando tenga 22 años, se habla la veda. Empieza el contador. Because at age 22 is normally the age in which people start looking for a job, a normal job. And to speak English well, it's important. He's 6 years old now. So Marta and her husband, Javi, they have 16 years to solve this problem. ¿Lo podéis resolver en 16 años? ¿Tú crees? Querer es poder. Where there's a will, there's a way. Always. Where there's a will, there's a way. All right, page 77 at the top. Are you ready? Paragraph 691. Yes, I remember that song. Everyone in the U.S. remembers it. It reached number 1 on the charts and stayed there for 5 weeks. It's considered among the top 10 songs and pop songs in history. Yes. Yeah. Yes, I remember. Of course I remember that song. Claro. Everybody in the U.S., todo el mundo en Estados Unidos recuerda esa canción, o la recuerda. Everyone in the U.S. remembers it. Yes, of course. I remember that song. Marta me pregunta, ¿recuerdas esa canción? Of course. It reached number 1 on the charts. Los 40 principales. Se llama el cuadro. Los cuadros, se dice siempre en plural. To reach number 1 on the charts. Yes. And stayed there for 5 weeks. 5 semanas, número 1. Do you remember that song? She loves you, yeah, yeah, yeah. She loves you, yeah, yeah, yeah. With a love like that, you know you should be glad. Yeah. Do you remember that song? This is true, eh? She Loves You reached number 1 in 1964. And it was number 1 for 5 straight weeks. 5 weeks in a row. Yes. You think you've lost your love. Well, I saw her yesterday. ¿Crees que has perdido a tu amor? Pues yo la vi ayer. You think you've lost your love. Well, I saw her yesterday. It's you she's thinking of. Es en ti en quien está pensando ella. Y me ha dicho qué decirte. And she told me what to say. She says she loves you. Dice que te quiere. And you know that can't be bad. Que no puede ser malo eso, ¿eh? Que eso. Yes, she loves you. And you know you should be glad. Ooh. Glad. Deberías alegrarte, ¿a que sí? Yes. That's the beginning of the song. Son tan simplonas estas canciones. pero con energía y ritmo. She Loves You. It was on the chart. It reached number 1 on the charts in the United States I think in February or March 1964. And it stayed there. It stayed at number 1 for 5 weeks. Yes, I remember that song. Yes. Everyone in the US remembers it. Well, everybody in my generation. It reached, alcanzó. It reached number 1 on the charts and stayed there for 5 weeks. It's considered among the top 10 pop songs in history. Posiblemente. De la música pop, entre las primeras 10 de la historia. Maybe. She Loves You. Of course. Also, I Want to Hold Your Hand. There are many by the Beatles during that period. And many others by Elvis Presley, etc., pop songs. So, yes, I remember that song. Yes, I remember that song. Everyone in the U.S. remembers it. It reached number 1 on the charts and stayed there for 5 weeks. It's considered among the top 10 pop songs in history. Pop, música pop. Pop viene de popular, música popular. ¿No sabías? ¿De ahí viene música pop? No lo sabías. Viene de popular, música popular, pop. Pub, un pub inglés, viene de público, public. Un bar público, regido por la legislación para no bar privado, que es un club y pagas cuotas, y bar público. It's a pub. Public bar. They're learning new things every day with me. With me, you don't learn only English, you learn many other things. The second paragraph number 692, page 77. The only real problem with nuclear plants is what to do with the radioactive waste they produce. Every country with nuclear energy is trying to find a solution to this problem. Okay. I was an English teacher for 10 months in la central nuclear de Zorita, Guadalajara, en la Carria. La central nuclear José Cabrera es su nombre oficial, pero se dice de Zorita porque están al lado de Zorita los Canes. Okay. I worked there for 10 months. Nuclear energy is very, very good. However, the only real problem is nuclear waste. Residuos radiactivos, radioactive waste. ¿Qué hacer con ello? Because dura 10 millones de años. All right. What do? Well, you build a repository underground. And but it costs a lot of money. All right, and so that's the problem. The biggest problem with nuclear energy is what to do with the radioactive waste. The only real problem with nuclear plants, en inglés decimos plantas nucleares, no centrales como aquí. The only real problem, el único problema real de verdad, the only real problem with nuclear plants is what to do. ¿Qué hacer? What to do with the radioactive. Aquí se dice radiactivo. En inglés radioactivo. La O sigue ahí. What to do with the radioactive waste they produce. Producen residuos. Waste. Waste también es desperdicios. Waste. To waste es desperdiciar. Malgastar. Despilfarrar. Es to waste. Perder el tiempo en tonterías is to waste time. To lose time is perder tiempo porque inevitable. But to waste time is not to use your time productively. It's to waste time. Well, not necessarily. Me, sometimes I need to do nothing. For women, it's impossible to do nothing and to think. But for men, no problem. ¿Qué estás pensando? Nada. ¿Cómo que nada? Es imposible. Nada. Yeah, I'm not thinking about anything. Yeah, it's just, yeah. You look, you know. Si esto fuera el cerebro, if this were a brain, this is the female, se me va todo. This is the female brain. Now, the male brain, the man, perhaps similar, but there are many times it's like this. Nothing. Yeah. What are you doing? Nothing. What are you thinking? Nothing. And it's true. Complete vacuum, un vacío completo. And so I have to put these pencils back properly, right? We have to put the pencils back properly. So, the only real problem, tengo uno en el suelo, no está abajo. I'll pick it, remind me to pick up the pencil on the floor. All right. The only real problem with nuclear plants is what to do with the radioactive waste. Yes, waste. I mean, waste time. All right. Every country with nuclear energy is trying to find a solution to this problem. Yes. And really, I don't think any country has built the final cemetery, un cementerio definitivo. Se dice repository, yes, for the nuclear waste. So it's a problem. For example, in Spain, in Vandellós and in Ascó, in Catalonia, Santa María de Garoña, in Burgos, no sé si lo han cerrado ya, Almaraz in Cáceres, and Trillo in Guadalajara. These are the nuclear plants in Spain. And the nuclear waste, every now I don't know, but normally every 14 months, cada 14 meses, they stopped for 1 month para la recarga de combustible nuclear. Okay. And they remove el gastado, which is the nuclear waste, and they keep it next to the plant in unas piscinas bajo agua in there. That's, I think, I'm not sure now. If I'm wrong, write me an email. No, Richard, ya no es así. Okay, because I don't remember. I'm speaking of many years ago. And so it's still a problem. Now there's a company in Spain. It's a public company. It's a national company. ENRESA, Empresa Nacional de Residuos Radiactivos. ENRESA, S.A. But it belongs to the Ministerio de Industria. I think it belongs to the Ministry of Industry. And for the past 40 years, this company has been trying to locate a definitive place for high-level radioactive waste. Because low-level, residuos radiactivos de bajo nivel, de los rayos X y radiografías, estas cosas, is in Cabril, in Córdoba, arriba, in the Sierra Morena. Almost in the border between Córdoba and Ciudad Real, you have Cabril, and there you have the low-level radioactive waste cemetery, okay? But high level, from the nuclear plants, there's not a repository yet, because ninguna provincia quiere ser el beneficiario. We don't want to be bitter, but if they put the repository next to your village, everybody in your village will be rich. Cabril vive muy bien, gracias a eso. Yeah, because the state covers all. So, if you have the nuclear waste facility, and it's not matter, they go down 1 kilometer, and they build concreto reforzado, which is hormigón armado. Okay. Así de, bueno, about 2 meters wide, and with other protections. And then they put the nuclear waste there and cap it. Cap is gorra, o gorro, pero también es una tapa cap, a bottle cap. A bottle cap. Tapón de la botella. And it's a cap. They cap it. Yes. But it's 10 million years. Oh yes, of course. But in 50 years, the technology will improve and go down and reinforce it every 50 years with new technology and new materials. You need to be optimistic, right? I can see. You need to be optimistic. Yes. El vaso está medio lleno siempre, no medio vacío, right? The glass is always half full. Okay, the only real problem with nuclear plants is what to do with the radioactive waste. Every country with nuclear energy is trying to find a solution to this problem. Una solución a, como en español, una solución para este problema, una solución a este problema. En inglés, a, to. To find a solution to. También for, to find a solution for this problem. For is also correct. All right, third paragraph, paragraph 693 on page 77. You'll never be... Okay, you'll never be able to make money selling clay pipes. Local governments prefer cheaper solutions, even though they know they'll have to replace the pipes more often than with clay. All right. Clay. Cassius Clay, ¿te suena? Cassius Clay? Muhammad Ali, the boxer? His original name was Cassius Clay. Clay. No sabías. You didn't know that. Okay. Clay means arcilla. So Casio Arcilla. All right. Was his name. Also, clay court, la pista de tierra batida de tenis, we say clay, como si fuera arcilla. Clay court. Court is pista. All right, clay court. Now, clay pipes. Pipe, escrito pipe. Pipe, puede ser una pipa. Ya no se ven. I never see anybody smoking pipes anymore. It was there's an art, smoking a pipe. And there's a ritual. Es un ritual. You remember? Yeah. And it's interesting. An aroma. It's special sometimes. But I haven't seen a person smoking a pipe in 20 years or more, or 30 years. Yeah. But I remember when I came to Spain, I remember some professors, were teaching the class, but constantly involved in the ritual of their pipe. And it distracted me. I was paying more attention to the pipe than to what the teacher was saying. But pipe has several meanings. Pipes son, repito, pipa de fumar, la pipa de la paz, the peace pipe, la paz pipa, the peace pipe. Pipe also son tuberías o cañerías para la agua in la casa, the pipes. Well, there's some pipes up here. The pipe is leaking. La tubería tiene una fuga. Está goteando. Yeah. So the pipes. And pipes también son oleoductos o gasoductos o ductos, vamos. Oil and gas pipeline. Solemos decir línea de tubo, pipeline. Gas pipelines, oil pipelines. The pipe. Now, underground in the city, there are pipes. For the natural gas, with their underground, there are pipes. For natural gas, for water, for cableado eléctrico, for the electric wires and cables. So there are a lot of pipes underground. Now, there are different types of material for these pipes. Okay. One of the materials is clay. Clay, y que en este caso no se dice arcilla, son tubos o tuberías de grés. ¿Te suena? Tubos de grés. They're more expensive. Maybe double, quizás el doble. They're more expensive. Now, in 1977, many years ago, in 1978, I had a teacher on my team by the name of Chris. Excellent teacher. One of the best teachers I've ever had in my life working with me. And he got married to a girl from Logroño. All right, Marisol, Cris y Marisol. A lo mejor me ven por las mañanas. Hola, Cris. Hi, Marisol. And Chris decided to leave the profession of teaching, and he joined a Belgian company, empresa belga, a Belgian company that manufactured and distributed clay pipes, tubos de grés. All right. And he went to Abu Dhabi in the United Arab Emirates. And for 12 years, Cris y Marisol lived in Abu Dhabi. Para los oleoductos de grés. All right. Then he came to Barcelona. And they lived for 20 years in Barcelona. 20 or more, 25 years in Barcelona. And he was responsible for the Belgian company for all of Spain, for tubos de grés. And he was always frustrated because of this. And he said, I'll never be able to make money selling clay pipes. Local governments prefer cheaper solutions, even though they know they'll have to replace the pipes more often than with clay. All right. His job was to visit the city halls, municipios, los ayuntamientos. They put the pipes for water, for natural gas, for electric cables, etc., etc. And grés, clay pipes, last for 50 years, 50 años. The other pipes, every 10 years, you have to go down and replace the pipe. And so many times on the streets of Madrid or Seville or Barcelona or Valencia, you're walking, because they have destroyed the sidewalk. Han destruido la acera para entrar y cambiar y reemplazar secciones de tubo. You know that. Si hacen grés, it's not necessary. But the grés or the clay pipes are double the price, but you don't need maintenance. You don't need maintenance. But because the municipal governments have budgets, bueno, eso sale del presupuesto. Bueno, este año sí, pero los 50 años siguientes no. But they don't think, they think in the short term. They don't think in the long term, you see. So, yo estoy hablando con otros, nunca podrás ganar dinero vendiendo tubos de grés, tuberías de grés. You'll never be able to make money selling clay pipes. Local governments, municipales, locales, local governments prefer cheaper solutions. Sí, lo barato, pero en muchos casos, lo barato es caro. Lo barato sale caro. Yeah? And it's true in this case. Even though they know they'll have to replace the pipes more often than with clay. It's a question. You see, the municipal government or the local government has workers. And if they buy the clay pipes, some of those workers don't have any work, you see. So they have to give them work. But it means destroying the sidewalk for 2 months or 1 month, you see, as they go down and replace the pipe, etc. All right, you'll never be able to make money selling clay pipes. Local governments prefer cheaper, más baratos, cheaper solutions, even though they know, aún sabiendos de qué, even though they know they'll have to replace the pipes more often than with clay. Esta es la segunda parte de la frase. Even though they know they'll have to. Incluso, aunque sepan que tendrán que, even though they know they'll have to. Eso es gramática pura, eso es mecánica gramatical. even though they know they'll have to, y fonética, even though they know they'll have to replace the pipes more often than with clay. The. Esta TH vibrada aparece en todas las frases del idioma inglés. Conviene dominar ese TH vibrada que existe en español. Dada, hada madrina, madrida, da. Eso existe. Pero hay que trasladarlo a la TH vibrada en inglés. Though, every country, local governments prefer cheaper solutions, even though they know they'll have to replace the pipes, sustituir, reemplazar, more often than with clay. I'm out of time. Only 3 paragraphs. See you tomorrow.